The Xbox was Microsoft's first foray into the console market. It was released in 2001 in North America and in other territories in 2002. Microsoft would drop all support for the original Xbox in 2010 with the closure of Xbox Live. During its lifespan, the Xbox managed to sell over 24 million consoles, which is an impressive feat, but nowhere near the amount that the PlayStation 2 sold, which was in the region of over 150 million units worldwide. In my opinion, I do think the original Xbox was the best gaming machine of the 6th generation gaming consoles. The original Xbox had an excellent game library. It had strong first party and third party support, with the majority of multi-platform games looking and sounding better than the PlayStation 2 and GameCube counterparts, purely in thanks to the Xbox's very powerful hardware. While the Xbox did receive some Japanese support, there is excellent Sega titles like Otogi and Panzer Dragoon Orta. You will not find any Japanese RPGs on the original Xbox console. While the Xbox did lack Japanese support, it did have excellent titles varying a wide range of genres. These included RPGs, first-person shooters, racing titles, platformers, strategy games, music creation games, puzzle games, dance mat games, and so on. The general consensus is that the original Xbox is purely a console full of PC and first-person shooter games. But when you look deeper, the Xbox has a diverse portfolio of great titles. One of the many aspects that gamers fondly remember the Xbox by is its sheer size of the actual console itself. The machine isn't particularly small by any means, nor is it particularly light. Weighing in at nearly 4 kilograms, the original Xbox console is no lightweight. The majority of this weight is in thanks to the hard drive and the majority of the components inside of the machine. The majority of Xbox consoles had a 10 gig hard drive, which was usually formatted to 8 gigabytes. This meant that gamers had the opportunity to save the games directly to the hard drive, which meant that they didn't have to fork out for expensive peripherals later down the line just to purely save the game data. The Xbox came with a DVD drive as standard, but you would need a DVD playback kit just to play DVD movies on your Xbox console. This was a move by Microsoft to reduce costs for their console. They would need to license DVD rights to have DVD playback straight out of the box. The motherboard, DVD drive, hard drive and power supply are all self-contained in the console, which means you won't have a hefty power brick as the Xbox already contains it, unlike the Xbox 360 or the Xbox One. Over the years, the original Xbox has garnered the reputation for being a strong, reliable machine, but certain revisions of the Xbox's hardware include some really bad faults. Excluding the 1.6 motherboard revision, every Xbox console has the clock capacitor issue. Unlike the PlayStation 2 and the Sega Saturn, the original Xbox doesn't use a rechargeable battery to keep hold of its clock's memory. It uses a capacitor. Now, this capacitor has been known to leak and cause some serious damage on the Xbox's hardware. Regardless if you find an Xbox console which is brand new or if it's hardly being used, this capacitor is guaranteed to leak on your motherboard, so it's recommended to open up your console and check to make sure your motherboard hasn't been ruined by this leaking capacitor. Another serious hardware fault is the power supply. Now, some earlier Xbox revisions used a power supply from a manufacturer called Foxlink. Now, this power supply has been known to have solder joints which crack directly underneath the power port and cause a potential fire hazard. You may remember that Microsoft offered replacement power cords for earlier machines. Now, this was just purely a move by Microsoft to cover their asses so they didn't get sued by faulty power supplies. These power cords did nothing to stop the solder joints inside of the machine from breaking and failing. So if you get an older machine, it is recommended that you open the machine up and check to make sure that the solder joints haven't cracked. And last but not least, the DVD drives. Now, the earlier Xboxes used a DVD drive from a manufacturer called Thompson. These drives are fucking atrocious. They break down and don't read certain games. If you've got an Xbox which uses this particular DVD drive, it's best just to open the machine up and replace it with either a Philips or a Samsung drive. In addition, some DVD drives have been known not to eject their discs from the console. This is purely down to worn down parts and the age of the machine. By all accounts, it's very easy to fix, and there's many tutorials on YouTube and on Google if you search for them. So if you do have a sticky DVD drive, it won't take too long to fix it, and it's a quick Google search away. Depending on what time and date you watch this particular console review, the Xbox is nearly 15 years old, and in that time the hard drives have been known to fail. It is recommended that you mod or soft mod your Xbox so you can actually restore game data and repair the machine. Once the hard drive dies on the Xbox console, that is it is completely dead. The hard drive is linked to that particular console. It is not possible to swap hard drives unless the console has been modified beforehand. So it's recommended that you modify your Xbox before the hard drive dies and back up any game data and the hard drive information, so it's possible to clone the hard drive and then replace it at a later date if needed. This brings us to one of the greatest aspects of the Xbox's hardware. It is very easy to modify and customize. My particular Xbox, I took it from a stock 8GB Xbox all the way up to a 160GB Xbox, complete with cathode lights, emulators and homebrew games. It is possible to turn the original Xbox into a fully fledged arcade game machine, and that is what some gaming enthusiasts use the original Xbox for. They buy an Xbox cheap from off eBay and then turn the Xbox into a massive arcade game cabinet. Personally, my Xbox is full of Mega Drive games, PlayStation games, Commodore Amiga games and homebrewed titles, but I'm also possible to rip original Xbox game discs to the hard drive and have them playing straight off the hard drive. This means reduced loading times and next to no texture popping. Another advantage to modifying your original Xbox console is the fact that PAL gamers never had the opportunity to utilise the HD features of the original Xbox. Now, the majority of Xbox games run at 480p, which is great considering that the majority of people these days own HD televisions. Unfortunately, Microsoft decided to lock the HD output resolution for PAL Xboxes, but it's possible to bypass this by softmodding your Xbox and using an application called Enigma. Enigma enables your Xbox console to trick the hardware that it is an NTSC machine and then play every single Xbox game in high definition. And finally, another great aspect about soft modding your original Xbox is the fact that it will play every single Xbox title that was being released. Now, the original Xbox console was region free, but it was down to publishers to decide if they wanted to region lock their games. And unfortunately, some Xbox games are region locked. The excellent Test Drive Eva Destruction is region locked to North America. It was never released in Europe for the original Xbox. So if you are worried that you won't be able to play a particular Xbox game from a different region, if you softmod your Xbox you won't have any issues. Just like Sony and Nintendo, Microsoft also released different variations of its Xbox machine. Now, these case variations vary from region to region. The majority of the ones that were released in Europe were the standard black Xbox, crystal and green, whereas Japan received the excellent Panzer Dragoon Auto white Xbox and the skeleton black Xbox. America also saw the release of the Mountain Dew Xbox. Now, there is quite a few particular Xboxes which are very rare. These Xboxes were released to coincide with various game launches, and these are very pricey to get hold of in today's market. Personally, my all-time favourite case variation for the original Xbox is the limited edition green Xbox that was released in Europe. I really do appreciate the see-through green aesthetic, and it is one of the easier Xbox limited edition consoles to get hold of, but prices do vary depending on the condition of the machine and if it does come with the original 2 limited edition green controllers. So in conclusion, is the original Xbox still a worthwhile investment? In my opinion, I would say yes. This is purely down to the fact that the Xbox is very cheap to get hold of over eBay or on Amazon. The majority of stores in today's market don't really stock Xbox titles, but online prices haven't been lower in recent years. It is possible to accumulate a very decent Xbox library with very little money. Although every game console does have its rarities, some of the Xbox's rarest titles allegedly don't really cost all that much. some of the great Xbox titles such as Splinter Cell, Panzer Dragoon, Knights of the Old Republic go for under £10 each, so if you are lucky you can get them in a bulk buy for very cheap and have a very decent collection. Just like I stated earlier on in the console review, the Xbox has been misconceived as a machine purely full of first-person shooters and PlayStation 2 ports. But with some research you realise that games such as Stub the Zombie, Gun Valkyrie, Kingdoms Under Fire, ToeJam and Earl 3, Midtown Madness 3, House of the Dead 3, Death Row, Metal Wolf Chaos, Quantum Redshift, Arx Fatalis, Call of Cthulhu, Dead Man's Hand, Doom 3, Dreamfall The Longest Journey, Jade Empire, Rally Sport Challenge, Still Life were all exclusive to the Xbox console. They were never on the PlayStation 2 or on the GameCube. Although Xbox Live has went down a long time ago, it is possible to play these games online with Xbox Connect or X-Link Kai. Now, these services are a network tunnel which allow you to play system link games over online. This tricks the Xbox into thinking that it's playing a system link game when in fact you are playing the likes of Forza or MechAssault online with other players. The service is free and easy to use, but you do need a modified Xbox. A quick Google search and you'll find that it's very easy to actually connect to this service and play others online. In conclusion, with the combination of great powerful hardware, an excellent library of games, and modding your Xbox for endless possibilities, the original Xbox is one console which you shouldn't be without. It's very cheap to purchase and collect for, and overall it is one of the best consoles of all time and the best console of the 6th generation.